Oh, hey Stargazers, it's me, Staria. I was just busy playing some Wii Sports Baseball when I thought about something real quick. Even with all the evil in the world, there's always things to help us cope with it. Surely not everything can be that bad anyways. Something evil just happened. I broke the monitor. You know, I've been really meaning to talk about something evil will happen for a long time now, but because of, I'm gonna be honest, I'm running out of excuses here, I just never got to it. Something Evil Will Happen, developed by Larva Studios, is a disaster survival game inspired by similar games of the same genre. You might recall Survive the Disasters 1 and 2, or Natural Disaster Survival for example. I find this genre of Roblox game to be really dead in the water nowadays, as it's really only held up by Natural Disaster Survival's legacy. So it's really nice to see that there are still games like this keeping this genre alive. I've also always loved playing this kind of game back when I was a kid. Getting into the game, I've noticed a couple of things. For starters, the UI design. Boy, I love how this looks. It feels so nice to look around all the cozy UI elements that this game has. It's like it's baked with love and attentive care. It has a really nice aesthetic to it with its theming around the early to mid 2010s eras of Roblox. Next, onto the lobby and maps themselves. These are a joy to take in while playing. The use of studs doesn't really feel overbearing or bloated, which gives it a nice dichotomy compared to most other games that attempt to reach the retro aesthetic. And the lobby being a doomspire while also faintly resembling the lobby of Natural Disaster Survival is nothing short of charming. Not to mention, you have a bunch of NPCs to talk to as well, representative of older Roblox NPCs but more vibrant and polished. You have Builder Fan, who is a shopkeeper seller of all emotes, gears, and customizable banners. There's also HelperBot, who is your encyclopedia and guide to the game, giving helpful information on specific game mechanics, while also helping provide the player with their stats. And finally, there's the ghostly Robloxian, who you can interact with to spawn on the map as a spectator ghost, where you're immune to most things, but still have weird ways that you can end up dying as a ghost, albeit an admittedly weird choice that doesn't make you feel like a ghost so much, and I'm unsure the purpose of this still, but I digress. A nice little detail I'd want to touch on with the ghost is that you're actually able to be revived as a zombie, which can cost up to $399 or 29 Robux, or with the use of a zombie token. I assume the only reason people would want to play as a zombie is so that they can be a menace to the server and sabotage people who are trying to survive. Next, while still being on the menu screen itself, I really like how this game comes with multiple game modes. Vanilla is just the standard game mode of Something Evil Will Happen, but there's also no PvP, which in a technical sense you can consider to be the easy mode of the game, for the lack of any PvP gears. Next, Hardcore mode, which requires 100 wins to unlock, and boy, this one's fun. I really like how much more challenging this game mode can be, but it's also sometimes pretty annoying because you could be in the match for less than 10 seconds and then, oh, would you look at that, I'm dead now. I hate this game mode actually. And lastly, VC only, which on my first experience, it was pretty lackluster all things considered. I'm not particularly sure if it was just because I was mainly playing on a weekday at the time of recording, but I had trouble finding any substantial value to come from this game mode. But it was until I actually got to see a lively server on a Sunday, which let me tell you, these guys were a joy to hang out with. Playing this game with VC is such a uniquely chaotic experience that I just can't recommend enough. Everyone here was so nice and so funny. Shoutouts to you guys are seriously so fun to play with. There's also the private servers that give you access to the admin panel, but I'm not a personal fan of these to begin with. It's just my own issue I have with private server admin stuff. The charm of this kind of thing really wears itself out pretty quickly once you have done all the crazy stuff.
Oh, I think this round it's gonna queue up like the horrible. Something evil. Something evil. 100.
I'm not even gonna.
Shit, Hitler if he was a fucking round. Oh my god.
I'm just gonna go. I don't even.
I should not
can't
be
even.
Moving on, I'd like to touch on how ridiculous the map work in this game is, dude. I truly believe that they nailed the classic Roblox aesthetic down to a T with these builds and faithful recreations. It honestly feels like the work you'd see from someone working in EBR. Shoutouts to my old heads who actually know about EBR. And that just makes it all more pleasing to the eye. On to actually playing the game though. When first joining, I noticed there seems to be a handful of people who tend to just sit in the lobby dancing while dressed up as a character, and I can't help but find this kind of funny, but also a little bit confusing. Not any particular critique on the game itself, it's just something I noticed a subset of the community tends to do sometimes, but it's more so just something I wanted to point out. In an attempt to truly fit in and make myself more seamlessly unnoticeable to the general crowd, I did the one thing I knew that would make me blend in. I dressed up as Kasane Teto. Yes, this is an excuse for me to dress up as Teto. No, I will not dress up as Teto in real life. You cannot make me. Unless this video hits 10,000 views, I'll probably consider it. Something I think is really funny about this game is the fact that it's not only a disaster survival game, but also technically a PvP game, as you have an incredible selection of over 60 different gears ranging from bombs to coils to traversal, and even healing and defense for team players. This creates a very versatile game loop for players interested in either PvP or PvE elements, or both, with the ability to support you and your friends and teammates to survival. Or you could do a little trolling in the middle of a tornado.
Holy fucking shit.
Hey, can you hold this for me?
Huh? Yeah, man, sure, I got you.
Alright, thanks.
Wait, what the fuck?
Hey, this game's not called Something Good Will Happen now, is it? I've always found myself fond of using a layout composed of a taser, dodgeball, fusion coil, and blockade, which gives me a little bit of a mix of a survivalist and a little bit of a saboteur. But I've also tried playing as a healer too, and it's pretty fun as well. One of my favorite mechanics I just need to talk about is the parry mechanic. The way it works is easy. When falling from high distances, you begin to ragdoll. If you could just hit the jump button at the exact time you hit the ground, you'll parry the fall damage, which will lessen the damage and give you a boost of adrenaline that can help you speed up and get away from any danger. It's really fun to practice this mechanic in-game, and I'd say it's one of my favorites because something about it just really brings this game together to make it feel like it's its own. Now, I'd say it's my favorite, but the dive mechanic is a very, very close second. I don't know why I don't have the dive coil. I've always particularly liked Something Evil Will Happen. It always felt like a proper mix of everything the disaster survival genre needed without feeling bloated or overly obnoxious. A perfect balance of wacky fun and chaotic messiness in my eyes. But now it's time for the real meat and potatoes, the disasters and disaster machine. Some of the disasters in Something Evil Will Happen are pretty unique compared to other games, as they can be separated into 3 categories: fun disasters, tense disasters, and dangerous disasters. For the fun disasters, I'd say my favorites would indeed have to be the Blocksaurs and Crusher. For tense disasters, it would be the Tsunami, the Fog, Starfall, and Laser Rain. For dangerous disasters, I really like Sharpshooter, Windy Day, and Draco Pillars. All of these disasters, while incredibly fun, can get tiring after you play the game so much, even when coupled with other disasters, but that's where special disasters come in, which a majority of get their own unique map exclusive to their special disaster, except for Excalibur and Mad Murderer. And my favorites of these would have to be Spleef, Wipeout, Jenga, Undead Coming, and the damn Super Bomb Survival Disaster, which quite literally just recreates SBS within Something Evil, and I think that's awesome in terms of collabs. I hope stuff like this leads to even more special disasters based off other games, such as Wreckball Survival, Ultimate Paintball, or even Flood Escape would be cool. One neat feature of the game that keeps it interesting is the introduction of combo disasters. A cute detail is that each combo disaster comes with its own unique name, such as Star Fury, which combines Starfall and Lightning Fury, and Double Whammy, a mix of Killbots and Crusher. All these allow for some very unique and fun game modes without feeling too boring or repetitive, because if I wanted boring and repetitiveness, I'd be playing Deep Broken. Last up, we have modifiers. These are some of the most unique additions to the game for being an additional layer of complexity on the top of the already ongoing disasters. I'd say one of my favorite modifiers would have to be Dolly, which when she opens her eyes has an indicator that will appear, making it so the player will know not to be walking, running, jumping, or holding a gear, which is indicated with an icon before she opens her eyes. Yeah, this is pretty much just the Young He doll from Squid Games, but with extra steps. My other favorite modifiers would have to be Shadow and Dosh Rain. All the modifiers are really fun for how they just amplify the game's intensity or provide a neat challenge to the players with stuff like Shuffle or Musical Chairs or even Bandwave. With mixing the maps, disasters, special disasters, and modifiers, it will make up the Evil Machine. The Evil Machine in Something Evil will essentially work like a way more amped up version of the Weather Machine from Natural Disaster Survival, having the added functionality that instead of just making the next round more difficult, you're also allowed to queue up specific disaster rounds, special rounds, maps, and modifiers. And if I'm gonna be honest, I definitely have spent enough money on this game to buy like 2 of their official makeshift plushies just to make this game more difficult for my friends because I thought it would be funny.
Block.
Next constant pone block.
Dude!
Oh my fucking god!
Oh my god! my god.
Oh, I'm getting pulled by a big spot.
Just like how I thought playing Wii baseball without the Wii strap connected to my arm would be funny. But could you guess what the status of my monitor's condition is? It's not looking good, let me tell ya! The status effects are up next, and a detail I personally like is how a lot of these interactions with both players and disasters give their very own status effect, with there being positive, negative, and neutral status effects. Different items you use can inflict certain effects on other players. Whether helpful or harmful, the disasters will also apply different status effects to you as well, with cute little icons or layers surrounding your avatar, making for a really cute looking visual indicator. And speaking of the use of different items, depending on your playstyle, you can affect your heat meter, which is essentially your performance throughout a match, since you have the ability to play an offensive saboteur role and or a protective healer role. The way you interact with other players around you can affect how much heat you gain. Good heat is earned through being a more defensive and supportive player, evil heat is earned throughout by being a more offensive player trying to take out the competition, and neutral heat is obtained by simply playing the game without attempts of helping or harming other players. All heat obtained can be used for gaining the MVP at the end of a match, which reaching glory requires you to build up MVPs, which makes for a really fun challenge to try and build up the skills to get MVP easily. One last thing I'd like to go over is this game's customization. From little banners to changing your profile stats and titles, and even how you move, Something Evil Will Happen has so much customization to one's personal profile, and I love it. I typically like to use the Carefree animation pack when moving around, and the little details of being allowed to show off your badges you've earned is really fun too. But that doesn't really mean I don't have my gripes with this game. For starters, the sense of repetition. Now, don't get me wrong, the game is incredibly fun for sure, but this is more so something that tends to follow with a lot of disaster survival games in general, rather than being solely this game's fault. I find myself getting very drained from this game after a while, and with that, it makes me wish that the game itself had more content in disasters and map selection. I know they do indeed keep the game fresh by playing into the combo disasters gimmick, but once you've experienced every disaster a few times, it tends to all blend together. Now, you could make things more interesting using the evil machine, but with how making the game more intense costs Robux, it's not usually the recommended option, even though I'm the kind of person that has spent probably $50 now just to make the game harder for other people for 20 seconds. And even then, the game is just a little bit too hard for me, even past 15 difficulty. But all in all, the game itself is not really boring, I'd say. It's just a bit exhausting after an hour or two. I just hope to see more disasters and special disasters get added to the game, as it's incredibly engaging and fun as is, but I believe it really needs to give more than it already has. Not that it isn't enough, but it's just what I personally think. Oh, brownie. So that was Something Evil Will Happen. Overall, it's a wonderful game that absolutely rejuvenates the entire disaster survival genre on Roblox. And I honestly can't see any other game beating it. From PvP to different uses of gears, allowing for players to be a support or offensive type of player, it really makes it a truly fun experience. But with that, again, I have to reiterate, the game does feel to get repetitive after only an hour. That's not to say it's boring or bad from the beginning though, it's just how I feel personally. If anything, I really enjoyed my time in the VC servers, and I'd probably go back again if I ever felt like playing the game. And with that, I make my leave, because I need to go find a repairman, because somebody has to fix this damn monitor! Apple.